The scientific method begins with a simple yet profound act: observation. We observe the world around us, noticing patterns, curiosities, and phenomena that pique our interest. Why is the sky blue? How do birds fly? These questions arise from our innate curiosity about the universe. Imagine yourself as a child, gazing up at the vast expanse of the night sky, filled with twinkling stars. You might wonder, what are those bright points of light? This simple act of observation sparks the flame of scientific inquiry. Every scientific breakthrough, from the discovery of gravity to the development of vaccines, began with someone observing the world around them and asking, why? Once we've made an observation and posed a question, the next step is to formulate a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a tentative explanation for the observed phenomenon, an educated guess that attempts to answer our why question. Let's go back to our example of the child observing the stars. They might hypothesize, those bright lights in the sky are actually giant balls of fire, like our sun. This hypothesis, while simple, provides a starting point for further investigation. A good hypothesis is testable, meaning that we can design experiments to gather evidence that either supports or refutes it. Think of a hypothesis as a detective's initial suspicion in a crime novel. It's about connecting the dots between observation and potential explanation. With a hypothesis in hand, we can now make predictions about what we expect to observe if our hypothesis is correct. Predictions are specific statements that logically follow from our hypothesis. They provide a way to test the validity of our initial explanation. Continuing with our stargazing example, the child might predict, if those bright lights are giant balls of fire, then they should give off heat, just like the sun. To test this prediction, we need to design an experiment. An experiment is a carefully controlled procedure designed to gather data that will either support or refute our hypothesis. Experiments serve as the proving ground for our hypotheses. They allow us to interact with the world in a controlled way, gathering evidence that will ultimately lead us closer to the truth. As we conduct our experiment, we meticulously collect data. Data are the pieces of information we gather during the experiment. This information can be quantitative, dealing with numbers and measurements, or qualitative, describing qualities and characteristics. For our budding astronomer, quantitative data might include the distances to different stars or the wavelengths of light they emit. Qualitative data could involve descriptions of the colors of stars or the patterns of constellations. Once we've collected our data, we need to analyze it. Data analysis involves organizing, interpreting, and drawing meaningful conclusions from the information we've gathered. By analyzing the light from different stars, they could gather evidence to support or refute their initial hypothesis. When we carefully examine and connect the pieces, a clearer picture begins to emerge. After analyzing our data, we can draw conclusions about our hypothesis. Do our results support or contradict our initial explanation? If our results support the hypothesis, we gain confidence in our understanding of the phenomenon. However, if the results contradict the hypothesis, it doesn't mean the experiment was a failure. Instead, contradictory results provide valuable information that allows us to revise our hypothesis or formulate a new one. This iterative process of refining our understanding is fundamental to the scientific method. Drawing conclusions is not about proving ourselves right or wrong. It's about objectively evaluating the evidence and letting the data guide us to a more accurate understanding of the natural world. The next step in the scientific method is iteration and refinement. The scientific method is not a linear process with a defined endpoint. It's more accurately described as a cycle, where conclusions often lead to new questions, refined hypotheses, and further experimentation. This iterative nature of the scientific method is crucial for its self-correcting mechanism. As scientists around the world conduct experiments, share their findings, and build upon each other's work, our understanding of the universe evolves and becomes more accurate over time. With each experiment, we add more detail, refine our understanding of the terrain, and chart new territories for exploration. At the heart of the scientific method lie three fundamental pillars: evidence, replication, and consensus. Evidence, gathered through observation and experimentation, forms the foundation upon which scientific knowledge is built. Replication refers to the ability of other scientists to repeat an experiment and obtain similar results. This ensures that our findings are not due to chance, bias, or errors in methodology. Finally, consensus emerges when multiple lines of evidence from independent research groups converge to support a particular theory or explanation. This collective agreement within the scientific community lends strength and validity to our understanding of the natural world. These three pillars, evidence, replication, and consensus, ensure the robustness and reliability of scientific knowledge. Observation, measurement, and hypothesis formulation are the cornerstones of the scientific method. Observation involves more than just passively watching. It requires keen attention to detail, accurate measurement, and the ability to discern patterns amidst complexity. Scientists employ a wide range of tools and techniques to enhance their observational capabilities. Telescopes allow us to peer deep into space. Microscopes reveal the intricate world of microorganisms, and sensitive detectors capture fleeting particles from the early universe. Accurate measurement is crucial for transforming qualitative observations into quantitative data. By quantifying our observations, we can apply the power of mathematics and statistics to analyze trends, identify relationships, and draw meaningful conclusions. Once we've made careful observations and gathered accurate measurements, we can formulate a robust hypothesis. Experimental design, controls, and statistics provide a strong foundation to our scientific approach. Designing a robust experiment is like constructing a well-built house. It requires careful planning, attention to detail, and a strong foundation to ensure the reliability of our results. One crucial aspect of experimental design is the inclusion of controls. A control group provides a baseline for comparison, allowing us to isolate the effect of the variable we're interested in studying. For example, if we're testing the effectiveness of a new fertilizer on plant growth, we would have a control group of plants that don't receive the fertilizer, allowing us to compare their growth to the group that does. Statistics play a crucial role in analyzing experimental data, helping us determine if the observed differences between groups are statistically significant or simply due to random chance. By applying statistical tests, we can assess the strength of the evidence and draw conclusions with a certain level of confidence. By carefully controlling variables, collecting appropriate data, and employing rigorous statistical analysis, we can build a strong foundation for drawing valid conclusions from our experiments. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed exploring the scientific method. If you liked the video, please subscribe to Science Curious.